Episode 13.
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.
Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I'm Michael, and I have my co-host here, Teresa, and we are the Two Blind Marketers.
Hello, everybody.
So, first of all, I want to go ahead and give you a couple of announcements. As you know, we have a contest going. We call it Name Your Tribe.
Sort of. Basically, what we want to know is, if you listeners out there, what do we call you? You tell us what you tell us, and the winner gets a few prizes that we've dug up and scrounged about, and, well, yeah.
You get the choice of a Amazon gift card for $25 or an iTunes gift card for $25 and a 30-minute strategy session with us where we'll do a deep dive into your business and help you sort some stuff out.
And if that's not enough, we decided to throw in a few templates that we actually use every day in our company. So, just go to the link in the show notes, which is
sbppodcast.com/contest.
And fill everything out, and good luck.
And want to thank you once again for the listens. We want to ask you to go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. That's how we grow. That's how we get more people to listen. And we thank you so far for the feedback that we've received. We also want to remind you that there's a few ways to contact us. You can go to sbppodcast.com/contest. Contact, or you can leave us a voice message using the link on our homepage, the SpeakPipe link. Just hit the button, have your mic handy, and leave us a voice message. Or you can leave us a comment at the bottom of the show notes page. And the show notes for this one is going to be sbppodcast.com/13. This is episode number 13. Can you believe it, Therese?
If someone would have told me that, I think I would have asked them if they were kidding. However, that being said,
so we crossed a major hurdle. One of our mentors, Paul Culligan, told us that most podcasts don't get past episode number 10. So here we are, 3 episodes past number 10.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, Mike, I think we've got someone for them to meet, don't you?
I do. We have a guest today. Now, this gentleman, I've known him for, 8 years. And we originally met at a conference in Las Vegas called Offline Gold, and we got to be good friends, and we've worked on some projects together, and we've stayed in contact all this time. And he's a web designer. He's a search engine optimization expert, and he is extremely good with local marketing, which is what we're going to talk about today. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our friend, Patrick Whitson. How are you doing, Patrick?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Teresa. I'm doing great. How about yourselves?
We're doing good, man.
We're doing good. So,
welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So, Patrick, tell us just a little bit about yourself and let our listeners know who you are.
Yeah, appreciate that. Well, I'm as you mentioned, I'm a local marketer. I work with a variety of types of businesses. I come from quite a technical background. I was in the service for 8 years, did consulting for about 15 years after that. Then finally, in about around 2010. Branched out on my own to started off with website design, just some basic simple sites, and got into SEO for those clients. Did some SEO for myself as well, for my own websites, and now I'm still continuing to do that work, but more on a consultative aspect and really focusing more on the local because as we all know, the small businesses are the ones that make the economy move.
They're the backbone of the market for sure.
Agreed.
Yep,
First
certainly.
of all, I want to say thank you for your service.
Yeah, no problem.
So, talking about local, and talking about Google, our audience ranges from local businesses, the brick and mortar, some mom and pops, to those perhaps just starting out, trying to start a business. So, talking to them, what is the biggest mistake that you've seen businesses make when it comes to Google and local?
Nothing like putting me on the spot, Therese. No.
That's what I'm supposed to do, my friend. That's what I'm supposed to do.
I would say probably one of the biggest mistakes that any kind of business is making now is thinking that online is just another fad. We still have more than, I think, close to 50% of businesses right now that do not even have a web presence. And, that's going to kill their business in 3 to 5 years. We see things have moved to mobile now, and that percentage is even higher that businesses don't even have a mobile ready to, website or anything that's on there, whether they're advertising somewhere else. I see that as one of the big mistakes is they don't have a web presence.
How would you define a web presence? Is it just a website?
Well, no, Therese, it's now, if you're back in the 90s, yeah, all you needed was a website. You can just throw one up there and you would show up on the first page of Google, and you might be okay for a couple of years after that, and many people were. Unfortunately, today, there is a variety of ways that you can get online. We also have the social aspect. So if you don't have a website, number one, they should get a website. It's highly recommended. And not just one that's just a brochure one. Without going into too much detail there, you want something that's going to focus on your target market. What is the type of customer or client or patient you want to bring into your business, and getting them to pick up the phone and call you. So the website's going to be a major factor there. The other issues, you have assets that Google allows you to claim, such as Google My Business. And that's another huge mistake, is that what Google does in that case is they go out and scrape the internet for all these businesses, right? And then they put them into their database for Google My Business. Now, the Google My Business used to be called the Maps, or the Google Local Listing. Now it's called Google My Business. And what that is if someone were to search with a geographic term, say like a dentist in Phoenix, Arizona, you would see a map come up to the right on the search. That would be below the ads on the top, and to the left of the ads on the right. So there would be, now it used to be called the 7-pack, but now it's the 3-pack. So they would show 3 business listings there with some information of the business, a link to their website, directions, and so forth, and they would show a map with a pin on it. Many businesses haven't even claimed those listings, and most likely they're not even showing up there unless it's not a very competitive market. They may show up there even if it's not claimed. But eventually Google is going to throw them down the listings, probably to page 5 or something like that. What
do you mean by claimed?
Well, what a business has to do is, for example, if you're ABC Plus in Phoenix, and let's say Google already scraped your information, they put it into their database, and you've somehow become aware that you have this listing that Google allows you to claim. What claiming does is you go in, you have to go to their website. It's I have it up here. It's google.com/business. And what you would have to do is go there and enter your either phone number, your business phone number, or your business name and address, and see if they bring up a listing there. If they do, you can claim that listing, and that means you own it now. Because if you don't claim it, someone else could come along and claim your listing, even though it's your business. They could claim it and go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use this." And this has happened too. People have hijacked listings, and they have used it for their purposes, but really it's somebody else's business.
Exactly. And, reviews play a part in this too, don't they, Patrick?
Oh, definitely. When you have a claimed Google My Business, it is really important that these businesses focus on getting customers to review them on Google+. And a little tip here, a couple years back, you only needed like 5 reviews. That's doubled now. You need about 10. Why? Because a lot more people are claiming their business listings and they're getting reviews. So if you have no reviews, and again, I'm not saying that you can't show up in that 3-pack nowadays, but it's definitely harder if you don't have reviews for people to see, because that's the first thing that people will look at. It doesn't matter what kind of business you are. They're going to say, what did other people say about this business? So reviews play a critical role in that aspect of ranking. Now, it's not a major factor at this point, but it is a factor. And this is something I always tell my clients is you need to get that listing claimed. And once it's claimed, you have to optimize that listing, and we can get into that in a second. And once you optimize that listing, you start working on getting reviews and then getting backlinks to those citations. You create citations for those listings, and you can start backlinking to those citations.
So let's say that someone has claimed their site, and and just for your guys' information, we did a podcast a few episodes back on reputation management and marketing. Okay, that's essentially what Patrick here is talking about when he's talking about doing the reviews. But let's say someone has already claimed their listing, and they're starting to get a few reviews. What should they be doing next?
Good question, Therese. If they've claimed their listings and they're getting reviews, some of them may already have reviews. So just as a preface, they may have reviews that people left on their listing that they didn't claim. So those would carry over once they claim it. Now, so you can get reviews in between the time you claim it, if you don't already have reviews, or if you have some there, you can continue to have your customers go there now and continue to review your business. But the second step really is to optimize that listing. Even if they are telling their customer, "Hey, could you go review me, online?" And I would recommend just don't tell people where to review you, because that could be construed as you're trying to entice them to only leave a review on Google+. And you don't want them just blasting your Google Plus page in one day with 10 reviews, because Google's going to recognize that as spam. So just
right. It has to be natural, right, Patrick?
Right. It has to be a natural way. What I tell my clients is sometimes I'll give them an 8x11 sheet that would, it's kind of just a soft sell, I guess you could call it, where they say, "Hey, we really appreciate people giving us a review." However you're going to word that, your manager, the office person up front, however they're going to hand it out. You give them some little bit of a spiel, soft sell that says, "Hey, we love reviews. This is how our business grows, blah, blah, blah." And you can kind of give them a roadmap there, because not everybody has a Gmail account. Although most people may say, "Oh, everybody's got a Gmail," but they don't. Maybe they have an old AOL account or Hotmail or Yahoo. So if they have a Yahoo account and you just give them a sheet that has G Plus directions on it or instructions to leave, they're not going to go leave a review on G Plus. Now, maybe you might have a small percentage that might want to try and go create an email for under Gmail and then go leave a review, but that percentage is probably low. So we want them, to, you just want to tell them, hey, we would love for you to review us online. Whatever you feel comfortable with leaving us a review. That could be Facebook. Facebook is a place where a lot of people leave reviews. Maybe it's, they put something out on a video or whatever. Any review is really going to help that business. But in the sense of getting back to the Google My Business, we want to optimize that listing the second after they claim it. And the reason why is because most likely you have a competitor in your market that already has his listing optimized. Now, part of what I do in my process when I deal with a client is once it's claimed, I do research on their competitors. You have to, because how is their listing laid out? What kind of information do they show there? Have they 100% filled out this listing? And that's another tip. Fill out your listing 100%. That means everything. Your business name obviously has to match what you're normally called in the industry. Now, let's go back to the ABC Plumbing. That may not be that may be their incorporated name, right? ABC Plumbing LLC or whatever. Let's say it's that. But in the real world, that plumbing business may be known just as ABC Plumbing. So you want to use ABC Plumbing in that listing for your business name. And then, of course, you have to have a proper address, phone number, and you want your website if you have one. Now, let me preface that you don't have to have a website to claim your Google My Business listing. Like, as I mentioned earlier, it is important that you do have one, because that is a kind of a backlink from Google Plus to your website that's from a high authority site that's going to give you a boost for your website. If you don't have one, it's fine. You don't need one, but I would recommend you get one down the road. So that's part of optimizing. And then there's a description of your business, and then your hours, what area you service. Now, if you're going out to your customers and they're not coming to your location, there's a process you don't have to show your address, because you may not want to have people just show up at your house, right? If you're working out of your own home.
Right.
So Google now gives you the ability to hide your address. So all these, and then of course you want to put links back to who you're the author of. That could be a blog, could be other articles, videos. You want to connect up your YouTube channel. Of course, there's more stuff involved there, but this is filling out your profile, right? You're listing 100%. And it'll tell you. When you're in there optimizing their listing, the listing, Google will tell you what percentage you're at. So that's kind of the quick rundown of, some steps you go through to fully optimizing your Google My Business listing.
Patrick, can you explain how the claiming process works?
Well, there's a couple ways you can do it with the claiming process. So if you're already an existing, let me say it this way: if you're a business that Google's already scraped and you're already in their database, then all you have to do, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can just go into Google directly, into the Google search, type in your business phone number, or you can type in your business name and phone number. There's a variety of ways you can do that, but those are two good ways to do it. And see if it's bringing up a map. It should bring up a listing that says your business, right, your name, and so forth. Now, what you can do is you can go to that listing, and it'll have an option. I believe it has a button that says, "Is this your business?" So you click on that button, and you can claim that listing. Another way is to go to the Google My Business webpage, which I mentioned earlier, so I'll mention that again. It's https://www.google.com/business. So once you bring that page up, if you're not logged into a Gmail account, number one, first get a Gmail account, or use your current email. If it's a Yahoo email you have, you can use a Yahoo email to sign up for a Gmail. It will refer back to your current email. Anyways, you sign up for that Gmail account. It's pretty easy to do. And then you can go back to the Google My Business page and hit the Start Now.
Okay.
And then
And go
no
ahead.
problem.
I'm sorry.
Then what that will do is it'll bring up another page where you can actually enter your business name and address. You can also enter a phone number there. So, for example, I'll use, to go through the process. Let's say it's ABC Plumbing again. They're in Phoenix. So if I'm on that page now, although you can't see it, I'll say ABC Plumbing, and I'll say Phoenix, Arizona. And look, Google gave me, there's some company in Chandler, Arizona called ABC Plumbing and Rooter. If this were my business, there's a little arrow there. You can click on that. And here's one thing that Google does. If it's already claimed or the listing has been verified, which we call claimed, it'll ask you to request ownership. See, it's asking me this now. Somebody's obviously claimed this listing, so I'm going to cancel out of that. Now, if this wasn't my listing, there's another option below. It says this doesn't match. It has a little link that says add your business. You just click on that add your business, and away you go. So there's information there like business, what country you're in, street, city, state, zip, all that, phone number. And then there's a category section on here. My recommendation here and a tip here is don't worry about entering all your categories for your business. Just enter one. Find what you do is just type in that box. For example, if it's plumbing, it should pop up options below that box. Like it pops up in my case, plumber or plumbing supply store. If I'm a plumber, I would pick plumber. And then you click the I deliver goods and services to my customers, and then you hit continue. And then you go through that process, and it'll tell you, okay, we've added your business, and then they'll either give you an option to send a postcard to your business so you can, with a PIN number, and that's how you actually claim it. Google, if they send you a postcard, they'll send you through the mail to your place of business. When you get that postcard, it usually takes 3 to 5 weeks, was what they say, but typically it's shorter than that. Once you get the card, you just go back to your listing or your Google My Business page. You enter that PIN, and then your business is verified. So that's kind of the couple ways that you can go in and verify your business.
Okay.
So let's step back here. So okay, so we've talked about claiming, and we've talked a little bit about reviews. Now, what else? I mean, because I know a lot of people, they talk about checking in when they come into a place of business. Is that a Google thing, or is that another site that does that? And what does that exactly mean?
Well, a check-in is fairly simple. It's someone showing up to that business, and then they go on their cell phone or whatever mobile device they have. And it's kind of like Foursquare is the same way. If you go to Foursquare, they'll have, you go to their site under your login, you find the business that you've checked in at, say it's a salon or a dentist or whatever. Google Plus doesn't do that at this point. But Facebook, Foursquare, there's other social sites that do that will show that here's how many check-ins you had at your business during the last 30 days. Now, what Google Plus does, or Google My Business, is they have a thing called Insights. Well, what's Insights? That's basically like tracking how many people searched for, did a search on Google, and your map listing showed up, right? So if I search plumbing in Phoenix, Arizona, and this ABC Plumbing and Rooter shows up, again, I'm using them as an example, then that would show in their insights. Right. So you get to your insights by logging into your Google My Business account, and you go under, you manage your business there, and it'll give you the insights. For example, I have I'm bringing up my own account that I have several listings in because I manage them for other clients. So I can go into each one of those and the account and look at their insights. So the insights will tell me, again, how many searches were done. Let me take one here as an example. There's a salon. Again, I won't give that name out here, but So here's the insights. It gives you a general summary, like how many views you've had on your listing, how many clicks, and then any new followers, because G Plus you can follow people back and forth, right? You can create circles of people under Google Plus, and it'll also show those. It also will show you reviews. If you're attached to a YouTube channel, which I recommend you do as a business, you should be doing video. It'll tell you how many new subscribers, how many views for your videos, how many minutes watched by your customers. So let me just go quick into a few insights here for this business, and I can give you some kind of details on how this works. It's loading up, so here we go. So one of the things at the very top, once you log into your insights and you're on the insights page, it breaks it down by 5 categories. So you have a total, which totals all the attributes of your insights. That includes search, how many people were on your Google Plus page, how many people viewed your posts, because you can post things on, just like you can on a blog or on Facebook. It's kind of like your wall. Google Plus has posts, and then anybody that's looked at your photos. Now, another thing they also look at is under the clicks. It'll tell you how many clicks you've had on your listing, how many clicks to your website. Now, this is where I say have a website, right? Because then it'll tell you how many people visited your website. And this will break it down by 30 days, 90 days. I think it may go back as low as 7 days. Yep, it does, 7 days. So it gives you 70, 30, and 90-day criteria. It'll also show you how many people clicked for driving directions to your business, if people come to your business. And then how many phone calls you've had in the past 30 days. Now, the default is 30 days. You can change it on the drop down to however you want to view it. So that's kind of the insights that are looked at there, which I think is this is a different change with Google Plus over the past years. You didn't get all this information. Now you can have analytics right on this Google My Business. This is really important, and I think this is a really powerful listing to claim and optimize. Because think about this. I'm thinking it was near middle of last year, Google was already kind of putting out into the market that they were going to be removing the 7-pack and putting something in its place, which is now the 3-pack. In other words, it only shows 3 listings now. So more than 50% of those listings since the middle of last year have dropped off the maps, right? They're gone.
Right.
So not only that, this is in real estate, they say what? Location, location, location. If anything, if you're a small business, media business, I don't even care if you're a franchise or a multi-location business, if you're not showing up in the maps, you're losing business. Nobody's going to call you because you're not showing up.
Agreed. Now, what about SEO? What about getting on the search engines?
Good question. SEO is still a viable option long-term for businesses. This is not I'm in no way telling people just do the SEO for 1 month and quit, because it's really no benefit to you. You don't know what your market is, how competitive it is. Can you rank on the first page? And again, Google's not going to guarantee you that, but if you have any kind of salt behind you as an SEO, you should be able to tell that to your client and say, listen, I can certainly get you on the first page, but that's a long-term process. SEO, or what we call organic SEO, is something you have to invest in. It's not an expense in your business. All these things that you're doing to market your business should be investments in your business because you want to grow it. Not just so you can say, hey, I'm on first page, but what are you on the first page for? Is it I need XYZ, or is it somebody actually typing in a buyer search term? Like if I'm looking for a Nike shoe that's red and has no laces, under $50, that's a buyer term. Although it's long tail, if you're not ranking for that and you're a shoe store, well, you're losing business, right? So SEO is, and really Google My Business is part of SEO. It's part of the organic SEO. But Google controls all those things, which is why I recommend as a holistic SEO, which is a little bit different than someone just saying, hey, I can get you on the first page. I look at all the aspects of your business, not just Google or Google My Business. What about your own website or other assets that you can create? For example, let's take this podcast. Could you do podcasts? Could you do videos? And of course, every business is going to be a little bit different. But you could certainly use those. Are you putting out other articles that you could promote on other sites that give links back to your website or go to your Facebook page? What about your social profiles? Those are another important aspect. All those entail SEO. So I think SEO has a bad name nowadays, and it's kind of a commodity service out there if you're just focusing on the first page.
And I think one of the biggest things right now is, a lot of people, there's two things that come to mind. First of all, Patrick is talking about, the Google My Business and so on and so forth. But that is not the only way to rank. And what I strongly encourage when I talk to people is not only figure out what you need to be doing, but figure out what your competition isn't doing. Because oftentimes your competition is missing the boat in maybe one or two areas, especially if they don't have someone out there that's focused on marketing and investing time and energy in their marketing, then they're obviously going to be missing the boat. And what you need to do as a business owner is go out there, figure out what they're doing and what they're not doing, and then create content to fill those gaps. If they're not doing video, guess what? You need to be. If they are not recording podcasts, you need to be.
Yeah, and I wholly agree with that. In order to understand, and again, I'm not looking at competitors as like enemies, but know thy enemy, know thy competitor. That's what that entails. That's why I do competitive analysis on at least their top 3 competitors, because you want to know what they're doing. Where are they getting their links from? Why are they ranking so high if they are ranking high? Not all your competitors are ranking as high as they could be. And what are some ways, as Therese mentioned, that you can go in there and take up the market, what I call dominating your market? See, Google My Business is a great place to start. If you're a brand new business, or even if you're, you've been around a long time, get your Google My Business listing claimed, optimize it, and get it ranking in the 3-pack. Because that will get your phone ringing. It'll get people going to your website if you have a website. If not, even set up a Google site. They give you free stuff there if you don't have the money to invest. Set up a sites.google.com website that has some information on it that's going to draw your your targeted market to call you for your services or your product. And then all the other things are what we call other assets that help you to have multiple listings on the first or second page of Google. Of course, first page is the pinnacle of where you want to be. So if you have a video, a website, and a Google, you're in the Google 3-pack, you have 3 listings on the first page.
Top of mind awareness.
Right. So you're in front of your market. I have customers that I have a client now that they rank for many of their terms. They actually have the whole first page of Google. They have their multiple website assets. They have multiple video assets. They have other assets on there. That is dominating the search term.
And I'm going to bring up another area, and I know I've run across this. I know, Mike, you've run across this, and Patrick, I'm going to guess you've run across it. A lot of people, they make the mistake, well, the economy's bad, I need to cut back on my marketing budget. Can you speak to that, Patrick? What is your thought on that?
Well, my thought is don't cut back on your marketing, because that's going to cut back on your business. See, that's why I say there's a difference between the mindset of someone says this is an expense and this is an investment. If it's an investment, it's something you've already budgeted, that comes out of your income in your business. It's something. It's kind of like paying your internet bill. There are probably some other areas that you can cut in your business without cutting your marketing. At least don't cut it all the way. I mean, some business may be in a dire situation where they can't spend as much as they were spending before. So certainly you may have to slim some of that down, but I wouldn't say cut it off altogether. And I've seen people do this. Even my own clients have come to me and say, I can't spend that money anymore on marketing. I just can't. Now, if you've the only difference I can say in that is if you invested in some other kind of machinery or something in your business to make it actually grow bigger, I can see that as an exception. Maybe you want to pay that off quicker, so you're going to cut back on your marketing until it's paid off, and then you're going to bump up your marketing once that's done. I've actually had a client that did that with me, and a couple months later they paid off that equipment. They came back and they started their marketing. Now, certainly, if you're in a competitive market and you do that, you should have the expectation that you're probably not going to be ranking where you were when you stopped. That's just the way it goes. Google wants relevant sites, relevant content to show to those people who are searching for whatever specific term that is for your business, whether it's a product or service. And if they see a couple months of just being idle, they're going to go, well, we got to readjust this site or whatever asset it is, and they will do that. I don't say they don't do it 100% of the time because Google's huge. They got billions and billions of sites, but they're pretty fast at finding out if they've been going back to your site every day, every 24 hours, and then over a 2-month period, nothing new's been there. You're going to start falling off, the first page, or you'll certainly be dropping down in rankings. So I would recommend that you don't do that unless there's some exception to that rule that you really have to, emergency in your business or whatever.
Well, so I guess to wrap things up, Patrick, if you were to give our top 3 takeaways that business can do right now, what would they be?
Well, number one, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have your Google My Business listing claimed, claim it. And I like to give a gift to your listeners for those that, and I understand business, as all of us here run our own businesses. You may not have the time to do that. So I'm going to offer up a free claiming listing. I'll claim their listing for free for those that will contact me, and I'll give that contact information a little bit. So for those who just say, hey, I want to do that because I want to start really, moving up in the ranks, or I want to start getting phone calls and getting more business, I'll claim their listing for them for free. So number one, claim your Google My Business listing. If you don't have a website, I can't, say it loud enough. Get a website. Really think about what that this is not an expense either. A website is an investment because it's you presenting yourself as a business to your target market. So you really
you putting your best foot forward, frankly.
Right. If you're just going to say, I'm going to slap up a one-page thing and it's not going to last, you really got to put some focus into that. And without going into too much detail, get a website, get one that's going to focus on your target market and get calls and people filling out a form or whatever action you want them taking. Download a free report, get a website. And then if you have your Google My Business listing claimed, you have a website, I would say invest in doing some marketing to get your those assets ranked. Your Google My Business listing, your website, and again, these are all investments in your business, right? Because in the end, let's say you want to sell your business in 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. And down that line, also, along with the website, make sure it's mobile friendly. People can view it on their mobile device. They can see all the content, the images, and so forth. So I just wanted to add that for the website. And as an example, when I do websites for my clients, the mobile friendly is already built in to the design. So I'm not going to charge you an extra cost to make it mobile friendly.
Right.
So whoever you're going to have do the website, make sure that that's included.
And And we've already covered. Make sure if you're going to build a website, make sure it's accessible to screen readers. We've covered that at length in previous episodes. So there's a lot of things that go into building a website, but yeah, definitely.
And we have an episode coming up in the very near future where we're going to be talking about the legality of accessibility. There's some rules coming down the pike here, and if you're not aware, you're going to get caught literally with your pants down.
And I don't think anyone wants that.
Keep tuned for that. Okay, Patrick, you want to share the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, there's the best way to get a hold of me is just email me. My email is patrickwhitson@gmail.com. Again, that's patrickwhitson@gmail.com. Or you can go to my website at Lapeer Website Design. It's LAPEER websitedesign.com, and just click on the contact menu item, and you can just fill out the form and send me a message from there.
And we will have all this information in the show notes so that if you missed that in the discussion, you'll be able to access it from the show notes. And that's going to be sbppodcast.com/1313.
And we'll be sure to have Patrick on to talk about other topics as they come up. That's one of the things we want to do is we want to bring quality people along that can help you grow your business. That's why we're doing this, and if you have a question, contact us or contact Patrick. This is what we do. This is what we enjoy, and I'm sure he could say the same. So, hey, Patrick, I just want to say thank you. It's been a blast to talk to you and kind of pick your brain a little bit.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, it was. Yep, it's great coming on and talking with you guys. And you want me to come on for another call, talk about something else? Be glad to do that for you.
Love to have you, man.
All right, very cool. You have been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I am Teresa.
And I'm Michael.
And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. To catch all our past shows, visit sbppodcast.com.